This week, we are celebrating our nation's 250th birthday, and my family has a genealogy with deep roots from both sides, the Native American ancestry to the Mayflower voyages to the Revolutionary War hero, presidents and signers of the Declaration of Independence. Patriotic roots run deep. Hey y'all, it's Susan at the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch. Welcome to episode 44 of Homestead Happenings. Grab some food off the barbecue grill and a glass of cold sweet tea. Wave your American flags high. We are celebrating the foundation of our nation and 250 years of independence. Here's what it means to me. Many years ago, I began a journey to discover my family roots, never expecting to find some very famous relatives along the way. For instance, Martha Washington, née Dandridge, the wife of George Washington, is a cousin 8 times removed and a relative through my dad's family. The fact that she managed a household and plantation while married to our very first president is an extremely important piece of the American history as well as our family history. And something I didn't know. She actually set the tone for first ladies and future generations. She was known for her immense strength and wartime sacrifices. She was the nation's premier social hostess and supportive confidant of her husband and president. She spent nearly half of the Revolutionary War in camp alongside her beloved George. She abandoned her own comforts to manage logistics and visit military hospitals. She knit for the soldiers and raised funds for the troop. Before Martha married George, she was a widow of Daniel Parker Custis. Even before she married George Washington, she was a woman of wealth in her own right. She managed 17,500 acres of estates and ran business affairs in England. The marriage to George Washington lasted 40 years of practical partnership and love. Martha was just 27 when she married George. She already had 4 children by her previous marriage, but she and George never had any children together. Today, there are thousands of living descendants of Martha Washington. Martha Washington is a great example of perseverance to the nation we love today. She stood beside her husband in his desires to become a free nation. She is a woman we can look up to today. Although Zachary Taylor was not around during the Revolutionary War or the signing of the Declaration of Independence, he was our 12th president. He is my 6th cousin, 4 times removed. I am related as a direct descendant through Melinda Taylor. She is the most recent person from the lineage of Zachary Taylor, and my second great-grandmother on my dad's side through my grandmother's lineage. Zachary Taylor won the presidency despite of his vague political beliefs, and his top priority as president was to preserve the Union. He died just 16 months into his term from a stomach disease. He was the 3rd shortest presidency in the United States history. Ironically, I want to note that my father also died from a rare stomach disorder. Zachary Taylor fought in the War of 1812 and the Mexican War and received the Congressional Medal and the Presidential Medal of Freedom. By profession, he was a military officer and achieved the rank of Major General. I have ties to the Declaration of Independence through John Penn. He is my 8th cousin, 7 times removed, and also comes through my paternal grandmother's lineage. He is considered a founding father who served several times in the Continental Congress and signed both the Declaration of Independence and the Article of Confederation as a delegate to North Carolina. His occupation was a lawyer. He is the son of William Penn. On July the 4th, 1776, the Declaration of Independence was signed as a foundational document of the USA, adopted by the Second Continental Congress in Philadelphia. By declaring the assertion that all people possess inalienable rights, including life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, it established the primary purpose of the government to protect these rights and the legitimacy only from the consent of the people, and the right to revolution, outlining that whenever a government becomes destructive to the ends, the people have the right to alter or abolish it. The 56 signers raised charges of treason against the British Crown. It is held in the National Archives in Washington, D.C. Consisting of 13 colonies and declaring sovereign states no longer subject to the British Crown, it is the most circulated and reprinted influential document in history. It is written in cursive, and sadly we have a generation that no longer knows how to write in cursive, let alone read its texts. The Declaration of Independence gives an introduction followed by the preamble with the express notice that we are endowed by God a foundation on Judeo-Christian values, and an indictment against tyranny by the British King, veiled warnings and denunciation, and a conclusion declaring a free and independent states. I have in my possession many genealogical family records, including those that fought and died to create a nation on the biblical principles through the Revolutionary War and many other wars since. In May of this year, 2026, President Trump rededicated the USA as one nation under God. In recent years, we have seen the undermining of our Declaration of Independence and U.S. Constitution, many trying to destroy our nation from within. But the United States of America has stood all of the attacks and remains the only nation in the world that began as a test to prove that we can have a republic built upon the will of the people, that we can come from many walks of life and be woven into the fabric of this nation and what it represents. All men are created equal. The preamble says that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We become a republic by the people and for the people. That's called self-governed. 250 years of history did not come easily, but whenever tyranny reared its ugly head, whether it was slavery of men and women or voting rights of women, we have overcome each hurdle with grace and dignity. When we look at the words of the Declaration of Independence, we see a blueprint of the American Republic. A republic isn't a system where the majority can just bully the minority. It's a nation built on the pertinent, unchanging laws rooted in our God-given rights. Psalms 33:12, King James Version. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, and the people whom he hath chosen for his own inheritance. When the signers of the Declaration of Independence appealed to the supreme judge of the world, they knew this truth. True national blessing doesn't come from military might or economic wealth. It comes from aligning our communities and our homes with the Lord. Our founding fathers and patriots refused to be entangled with the yoke of British bondage. They stood fast in liberty. Today, that means standing fast as citizens and taking personal responsibility for our lives, our food, our families, and our freedom. When we look at our family trees, at the patriots like John Penn and Zachary Taylor, or even the everyday farmers who picked up their muskets or a pitchfork, they weren't just fighting for a piece of land. They were fighting to build a republic where the people were free to live under God, not under a tyrant. That is the fabric of our nation. Our channel lineup is Monday and Friday full videos, Wednesday podcasts, all drop at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. And third Mondays are a live at 11 a.m. I hope that you'll join us there. John Penn said, "My first wish for America is to be free." Zachary Taylor said in his inaugural address, "The confidence and respect shown by my countrymen in calling me to be Chief Magistrate of a republic holding the high rank among nations of the earth inspired me with feelings of the most profound gratitude. Chosen by a body of people under the assurance that my administration would be devoted to the welfare of the whole country." Zachary Taylor ensured the population that we are a republic, not a democracy, that the politicians are governed by the people and not the other way around. Don't take our freedoms for granted. The liberty we enjoy today, the freedom to own our own land, to raise our children, to plant gardens, to worship God, and to speak our minds, it was paid for by real people with real families who risked everything to build this republic. Remember, freedom is never more than a generation away from extinction. We don't inherit it in our bloodstreams. We have to fight for it, protect it, and pass it on to our children and our grandchildren. When you look at the flag waving in the background today, let it be a reminder to stay vigilant, stay grateful, and never take the blessings of this nation for granted. This is what true patriotism is all about, not politics or slogans. It's the quiet, deep-seated love for the foundational principles of liberty, reverence to sacrifice, and a personal commitment to live it out every single day. For a homesteader, that connection runs deep in the soil, in self-reliance, and in freedom under God. It isn't just about waving the flag on the 4th of July. True patriotism is a matter of heart. It's the active gratitude for a constitutional republic. It's not a democracy, so stop calling the USA that. We are woven together by ordinary people who did extraordinary things to ensure that we could be ruled by the people and not the government bureaucracy. And under an all-knowing, all-living God. True patriotism cultivates and teaches our children where their rights come from. They honor our ancestors and guard our freedoms fiercely for the next generation. When we live self-reliant lives, when we take responsibility for our homes and for our actions, when we stand fast in our liberty, that is the true patriotism in action. God bless the USA. Be blessed and a blessing.